with your boy Ancient Albatross here behind the scenes as usual these days. But we have the Cypher Unlimited crew as usual. We have Alpha Dean, we have Spiggs 18, and along with a very special guest. But before that, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us here on Twitch and subscribe to us over on YouTube. It is a great help for our channel. We really appreciate all the support we've gotten so far. But without further ado, Anthony, what are we doing here tonight?
Oh, we have an impromptu special show with the COO of Monte Games, Charles Ryan. We were talking earlier today, we were talking about the Anywhere door, and we were brainstorming, hey, how can we get this information out to the public, to the community? And Charles was gracious enough to hop on the last second to chat with us about it. So I'm really excited. Charles, say hi to the CU community and welcome back.
Thank you. Happy to be here. And I see you community. Great to see y'all. Talk to y'all.
Just to rub a little salt on Sean's wounds, Charles, just for those that don't know, Charles has just surpassed Sean K. Reynolds as the most appeared member of Monte Games on the CU stream. So congrats on that as well. We got
in your face, Reynolds.
They just tied with Sean, because remember Sean was just running us through the what's the name, so they just tied.
No, Charles is one up on Sean. I checked it right before the stream.
Okay.
So
in your face, Reynolds.
Charles, welcome back. And the Anywhere door, which is currently on back of kit right now, has 39 hours left. It ends on Friday.
That's right.
And this project has been, this has been a weird one, Charles, because it sparked a ton of conversation on the server, some good, some bad. And I think most of it stems from lack of information, if I could say that correctly. So we wanted to bring you on to explain exactly what the Anywhere door is for our listeners.
Yeah.
And Moonbeam for that matter.
Right. Well, so Moonbeam is the platform, and it's a new platform. It's coming out. None of us have seen it yet, and I've seen it in demos and stuff like that. You guys have had a quick look at it in demos as well, but we haven't actually seen it live. Should have the alpha live. I think they're telling us end of this month or sometime in early September. The actual won't go out to the public until early next year. But it's a platform that does a lot of what Twitch does in the sense that it brings you streaming stuff, and a lot of does what Discord does, and it lets you have sort of a rich text-based conversations in a really nice user interface and whatnot. And then it has a whole bunch of things that sort of improve upon that. Within these places, you have realms, and so if you have if you're a realm owner like MCG will be, within that realm, you can have other people. Well, first of all, any user, of course, can join that realm. Well, there's some caveats there because there's some really, really good moderation tools that will allow you to keep the bad actors out of your realm. But setting that aside, talking about members of our community who are not those people, anybody can join there and you can have conversations and whatnot. But also, different parties can be given the right to stream within your realm. So instead of having all these different isolated channels, if you're a fan of our games, if you're a fan of the Cypher system or whatnot, you can go check into the Moonbeam any old time and see who's streaming. And there could be 3 or 4 different people streaming. You know, here's an Invisible Sun stream, and here's somebody doing a live play of Cypher System, and here's Mr. Tarask talking about a book, and here's the CU guys doing an interview with me, or what have you, potentially all at the same time, and you could browse through them and do what you like. We actually don't see that as we're not shooting to have multiple channels going on at one time, to be clear. But the important thing is that we can enable you and Mr. Tarask and Ketup and DM Tails and stuff like that to go in and stream when they want to, because they have their permissions from us. They don't have to do it purely on their own channel and then go out and somehow attract the audience. The audience can find them all in one place. It does all of this inside of an interface that's much more modern, much more user-friendly. I think we all know that some of the platforms out there have interfaces that are chaotic and kind of frankly designed to be like, you know, if you're not elite enough to get it, then you're not really welcome here. This is not like that. This is a modern, user-focused interface. And then, as I mentioned to you before, less of an issue for us because we have such a freaking fantastic community, but it has great moderation tools, really, really good behind the scene tools that make moderation easy on the moderators, and make it really possible to keep your community vibrant and positive and friendly, and all the values that we of course already enjoy from the Cypher Unlimited guys. So that's sort of the overview of what Moonbeam is. The Anywhere door would be MCG's realm within Moonbeam. And so the campaign that we're doing was initially to get this sort of set up and give us the resources to go with it. But we did that when we funded. So now the campaign is moving forward, and all the funding now is focused on streamers and creators, content creators. So we set up the Cypher Stream Creator Fund, which became a real thing when we funded, so it's going to happen. This is for new and smaller streams can get a grant. They can apply for a grant, and we can give them a grant, and then they can create content. And then we also have a block grant money set aside for established streams that want to do cool and interesting things. We can give them a bit of money for that. We're not putting big restrictions on what these things are, right? Like the amount of money for the Established Streamers Fund will depend on what the programming is, and the scope of it and how cool it is, and what the streamers bring and whatnot. But we aren't saying, we're only giving you money for this or that. We're saying, like, we'll give you some money, use it for use it for equipment, use it for marketing, use it to pay moderators, use it to pay talent, use it to take yourself on a vacation to St. Croix because you deserve it. Whatever the things are that the money would benefit your programming, you're free to use it as you see fit. And that's for both funds, the Established Creator Fund and the Small Streamer Fund. Yeah, and then I know I've been blabbing on, but the last thing I'll throw in is we are closing on a stretch goal, the first stretch goal of this campaign, and that's a matching stretch goal. When we hit that, all of these funds, every penny that we raise from this campaign, including any that we hit stretch goals on the way up, will all be matched by MCG. So essentially, all the money that's being collected this time is funding these funds, making them bigger, and then MCG is going to match if we hit the stretch goal. So we're really excited about the platform is really cool, and we think it'll be a really nice hub and give us the chance to do a lot more, make a really ideal platform for doing a lot more in the video streaming space. But we're really excited at this point about the potential explosion that you'll see in content creation for in our community for all of our games. And then one last thing I'll point out is I mentioned moderation. A big chunk of our initial funding was to have paid moderators for this campaign, and we are contracting to see you guys because you have done such a fantastic job with your community to be the ones that run that moderation for you. And it's as you guys know, it's a paid gig. It's not it's not billions of dollars or anything like that. But in asking you guys to be part of this, we wanted a platform that you guys would love, that would not be in competition with the CU Discord and with the community in any way, and also to compensate you guys fairly for being involved in helping us bring the same standards that you have in your community to the official community.
Also, thank you so much for even being offered and considered. That was an honor, and
it was a no-brainer for us. You guys do such a great job. We love you guys. We love the community. We love, it just goes without saying.
Mm-hmm. You had mentioned two things that I definitely want to touch on. You already have a group of established streamers that you're bringing on board. You also mentioned that up and coming streamers can apply. What's that process going to look like? Because that's a question that gets asked a lot.
Right. So we have the Cypher Stream Creator Fund, which we announced back in last month in July. And I think you guys might have a link to post for that.
Yeah.
But that's it. You'll see the announcement on the MCG website there. And there's also some information about it on the campaign page for the Anywhere door. And the Anywhere door, as an aside, I'll just throw out there, where's that name come from? It's a cipher, and we're all mad here, written by Shauna. And you draw a door and you can go anywhere you want, and the door stays open for a little while, and then that's the use of the cipher. But in the campaign, when we build the Anywhere door realm, it will be open all the time and you can go all kinds of cool places. That's a nice shtick. Anyway, so we'll open the application process later this month, and anybody could apply, and we'll have a questionnaire that you can tell us about what you envision doing. We don't have an awful lot of restrictions. We're not really interested in like unboxing videos or reviews or that sort of thing. But really anything, whatever you want to do, whether it's a live play or commentary or in-depth analysis or ways to do builds or whatever it is you want to do, hit us with a cool pitch. And we, as it currently stands, it's got we've got $500 grants, and there's slots for five grants. And then if we unlock this goal, which I think we will probably pretty soon, but with the community support, then that'll double. It'll go to 10 grants. And you give us the pitch. We will go through them this autumn. And pretty much the thing is, it needs to be done on Moonbeam in the year of 2025. And it has to be cool and interesting. And that's it. If you're one of the 10 that are really cool and interesting and that meet those criteria, then you'll get a block grant. It's going to be 2025. I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was. So maybe it'll come up.
Guys, since this is an impromptu stream, we didn't actually set up any questions. So chat, I see Mahia has already asked the question. Yeah, feel free to put a question you want Charles to answer in chat. Just preface it with the word question so we know. Dean, you want to read Mahia's question? Dean, you're muted.
You're quiet.
You're muted, Dean.
Her question, Maya's question says, how is the Anywhere door going to be different from the CU server other than streaming options?
So, I mean, that is going to be the primary difference, that it's going to be a good platform, a more robust platform. There are some behind the scenes, like technical stuff that might not be super important to most people. But for example, they have a monetization process for streamers where it's very much like Twitch's, where you can buy little tokens and give them to the streamers, but it's much more transparent to the user. The amount of money that the streamers get is better, and the streamers have tools where they can divvy it up. Like if a streamer, I don't want to say like I know how Twitch works, but my understanding is if you give money to a Twitch streamer, it just goes to that streamer, and then the streamer might divvy it up between the people that works for it. But in Moonbeam, you can actually set it up in the back end and say, I'm the streamer, but I'm going to give 30% of it to my producer and 20% to my social media person, and I'm going to keep the other 50%, and then that happens automatically. So there's like some technical things like that are probably not super interesting to most users, but that's almost like that's just an example of across the board of how this is sort of a second generation technology when compared to sort of the existing platforms. And when it comes to the thing that's the most impactful to general members of the community, I think it will be that robust chat feature. I think we've all been in Twitch and like tried to follow a conversation in Twitch, and it's like in 1,000 different colors and nothing's connected and it's all just a constant stream of stuff. This would have the conversations organized more like Discord, where you can actually sort of follow threaded conversations, multi-channel conversations, and in a user interface that like is just much easier to parse visually. And then of course the one that you won't notice as much is the moderation tools, which again, that was one of the things that when Moonbeam was pitched to us was one of the leading points. And I was like, well, we don't care about that because we have such a great community that we don't really struggle with people coming in and causing big problems. But it will be even easier and less stressful on moderators to maintain those community standards. And I know you guys have had a demo of it too. Like, am I missing anything? Is there anything that's worth calling out?
Well, I wanted to say, just to put it out there. Would you say, like in simpler terms, that this would be like setting things up where you could literally have a one-stop shop for all things MCG related? Between the CU being there as your moderators and it connecting to our Discord and everything, and then us connecting there. It's just like a one-stop shop for the community, right?
Yeah.
Where we will have just all the people out there, or trying to have them,
right,
from Moonbeam.
Yeah. So that is, I think you can totally say that's true, except I do want to mitigate it with one thing, which is we are working very hard not to make this compete with the CU Discord as an environment. If some of the conversation moves to Moonbeam, that's cool because it'll be all the same people, right? And it will, but that part will happen organically. If people like the platform better and it happens, awesome. If they don't and they keep all of their chat activity over on the Cypher Unlimited Discord, that is also awesome because it is already well established as just a fantastic community. So it's a kind of a fine line to walk, right? We want to embrace the community to use this as much as they want and as much as they like, but we don't want anybody to feel like we're trying to muscle in on the CU's turf or compete with the CU or fracture the community or anything like that. Which is why the first people, as you guys know, the first people we talked to about this once we got the pitch and said this looks pretty cool, we were like, got to get to see you guys involved because this is so cool.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that we didn't sign an NDA, so I can say this in all legality. The first thing Charles told us was, "Hey, look, the CU's not going anywhere. You guys are still free to do whatever you want. You 100% free to not get involved in this. This is cool. We think this might be up your alley. Like, would you check it out? Which I greatly appreciate." And like we mentioned this when we did our first Moonbeam video, the CU isn't going anywhere, the Discord server. This is just more options. More options is always better, so like, and you could be part of both communities simultaneously, because like what Charles said, if I'm a betting man, that I'm going to believe there's going to be a lot of the same people just having conversations through two platforms. You might be watching the stream and chatting on Moonbeam, but then taking the discussion to the CU the next day or after the fact, discussing one of the problems. And both of those are viable options, and both of those are accepted options.
And I'll also point out one more thing too, because this applies to you guys, and it applies to Ketup, and it applies to everybody else that is Mr. Tarask and DM Tails and the Old Ways and everybody else that's getting involved in this. Is that it's not exclusive either. We're not telling anybody take down your Twitch presence and do this. You can simulcast to any other platform you like. Like, we're not asking you to cut any part of your community out or any part of your followers out to come to this. If you've got followers that follow you on Twitch or YouTube or whatever, and that's where they love to find you, awesome, no problem. This is added on top of that, not replacing it.
Okay, our buddy old Gus says he wanted to know, he said, is this a persistent 24/7 app you want up, or a daily check-in so you know what's up with your calendar? Is there a mobile app?
I don't have an answer on the mobile app question. I would presume that if it's not there at launch, it would be not long after. It is a persistent environment in that you can, like Discord, you can log into it anytime. But again, the streams would be live. So if you happen to log in and nobody's in the chat, nothing's happened on a stream, you wouldn't see anything. But the environment remains persistent. The conversations remain persistent. And so, if there's a conversation that's going on parallel to some streaming, then that would be persistent, just as it is in Discord. Also, just as a sort of a side note, I'll point out to another use case that we're looking at. We haven't quite figured out how to do it. It's not going to be in time for 2024, but we think it'll be in time for 2025. We're confident it will be. Is in activities like CypherCon, right? So CypherCon, we can do. We could hold that within the Moonbeam zone, and we could do potentially at the same time, or we could schedule them so that they aren't overlapping and people don't have to pick and choose. But you could have different seminars, you could have some games live streamed, what have you, all that content there, and you could have CypherCon related discussion channels happening there at the same time as well. So an environment like that, where you're doing an event that might have multiple streaming channels and a lot of conversation going on, this would be perfect for that.
I think you might have mentioned it, but this was a question that was asked several times on chat. This has no actually upfront cost for the user, right? Correct. This is entirely free, because I think there was a misconception about that as well.
Oh yeah, 100% free. There's no cost to anybody. There's no, the only gateway that exists here, again, goes back to that moderation, that it gives us some really nice tools where we can make our realm invisible to people that meet certain scores of being, jerks and assholes. Again, nobody who's listening to this is going to fall into that category because we have such a great community. But that is the only gateway that exists, is the gateway that we can put to keep bad actors out. Other than that, it's 100% free. It's free for all the users. It's free for the streamers that are engaged in this. And again, we're actually raising money to make it positive for the streamers that are involved in this, as well as the CU people.
Also, there's multiple. Oh, go ahead, dude. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, but just so everybody understands, but there is, an application process or a vetting process before you get allowed into any one specific realm. Correct? You have to be, given permission to be a streamer
As a streamer, yes, you have to
But
come to
not as
us
a
and say,
user.
I would like to stream in your realm, and we have to agree that that's a good idea and give you the necessary permissions. As a user, you don't have to have that. You can just come to our realm, just like somebody can join the CU Discord. As long as you agree to the moderation terms and are going to be a good citizen of the space, there's no problem there whatsoever. But yeah, we would vet the streamers that are given that free access. And right now there's a list of about, I don't know what it is, half a dozen, 6, 7 parties that we're working with that are people that we love and make great content and will be good partners, and more would be added. And anybody that applies for the the Cypher Stream Creator Fund, they would of course be brought into that as well. And there could be others in the future. Who knows how many others would become part of it? But yes, they are vetted. It's not open to the public to just come in and start streaming.
Also, too, Anywhere Door is a realm on Moonbeam. Do you know any of the other companies involved with the initial startup of Moonbeam? And could anyone join multiple realms?
Yeah, absolutely. As a user, you can be part of any number of realms. I don't think there's any sort of restriction on that. Within the gaming space, ultimately, Moonbeam is not a gaming specific platform. They hope to be a platform for any kind of video communication. But they are sort of leading this sort of entryway into the marketplace through gaming, I think in part because some of the creators engaged in gaming, and in part because the tabletop gaming community, it's an obvious fit where, a lot of cool stuff happens. With the backer hit campaign that's going on, it's what they call a collaboration campaign or a collab campaign where multiple parties are part of it and sort of doing it in parallel. Gen Con TV is one of the collab partners. Yeah, I should have prepped for this because there's about another five of them. And you know what? How about this? I will just click on over here onto my browser and have a look. So there's about half a dozen. Panic Table, Gen Con TV, Evil Hat is one of them. So there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, so there's going to be a ton of, and I'm pretty sure with the success, if the project, is successful, you're going to see a lot of other companies want to jump on board as well. Anything else, it'll expand and grow.
Right. And that's the hope. I'll be completely straight as I have been with you guys, but also with the audience, right? This is a new platform of the type that relies on network effects to succeed, right? It has to catch on. And I think this platform looks really, really, really good. And I think it's got everything it needs to succeed. But anytime you're in a network effects launch, you need like a little magic, you need a little mojo that may be beyond just doing everything right. So who knows? Maybe 2 years from now, this place will be a wasteland and it won't be huge. Well, we gave it a shot. And in the meantime, hopefully this effort will have grown the streamer community and the video content creation community for MCG's games hand over fist. And then, we'll all be back on Twitch and cool. We'll just have a lot more stuff, a lot more cool content. But on the flip side, like you say, this could be the ground floor of something really, really cool. And we hope that it is. We think it's got that promise.
I mean, just with the channels that you name, like Gen Con TV and stuff like that, that just for people who can't make it to Gen Con, that seems like they might be streaming Gen Con live right on Anywhere, not on the Anywhere Door, but on their channel.
Right.
And, if you think about that, we're going to Gamehole. We can, by, next year we'll be able to stream from Gamehole right on to, the Anywhere Door. So it'll give people opportunities to experience some of the cons, in another way. I'm, just my thought process. Do you agree, Charles?
I completely agree. But you also bring up another point, which is that, we're asking people to support this, to throw in a few bucks. The pledge levels are very low, like $10, gets you in the door, to support the CU and the other streamers that are going to be part of this funding. And it's wonderful to ask you for a favor. You also get alpha access, and it's not out of the question we could be doing some streaming on Moonbeam from Gamehole Con this year, because I don't know exactly when that's going to open up, but it's in the vicinity of time when it might include Gamehole Con. So yeah, you want to see us chat and game and hang out at Gamehole Con? Sign up for the Anywhere Door and throw $10 at these very, very worthy streamers. Help us build these funds that we can pass through. And if we hit the stretch goal, MCG will double. and be part of the community, help shape it, help create its its look and feel, its atmosphere, its standards in the early months before the public starts to pour in.
With Charles saying that possibility exists, we love to stream. We always taking video when we go to Gamehole to share with the community. So it'd be great if we could record video and stream it live too. You guys get some MCG stuff live. That would be awesome. So yeah, I think this is a great investment. Hey,
And Dean, tell them about our setup at Gen Con. At Gamehole Con. Tell them what it's like there.
God, the setup at Gamehole Con is so absolutely awesome. First of all, MCG has a whole floor. They got a mezzanine, and they have their MCG store set up there. But then we have a bar. We have ice cream vendors. We have everything. We got tables all set up. There's games going on all the time. You get to see people just sitting back, reclining on reclining chairs and so on and so forth, conversations. It is like it's more like being at, a retreat than it is being at a convention. It's so laid back. It's awesome. The whole MCG crew is 90% of the time there.
Somebody, and I'm sorry if I can't remember, because I can't remember your name off the top of my head. But one of the visitors at last year's Gamehole, I think, described it the best when they first came up and saw the MCG space, coming up the stairs. They was like, "Oh man, this is like gaming at Monte's living room," because because like you have a whole convention thing happening downstairs, but everything upstairs is MCG. So it's sort of like you going into like a mini convention within a convention. I absolutely love Gamehole Con. That's my favorite con of the year by far.
Yeah, mine too.
And it's the only con that we all come to, right? So like Gamehole Con, it's the entire MCG staff there. Sometimes one or two people can't make it, but all the MCG staff intends to be there. And it's a super laid back con. We have those sofas up there. It is the official lounge of the convention center of the convention. So anybody can come into it. It's not just MCG people only, but we sponsor it and we sort of make the whole space as welcoming as we can. So I think it'd be awesome to stream stuff from right there. Like invite people into the MCG living room, as you say, and hang out with us.
I thought that was a perfect description.
DM Tales said there needs to be a bartender live stream with game developers telling the bartenders the woes of game development. That's a game. That's my next adventure.
Well, like you point out, right? They open the bar there in the middle of the afternoon, early afternoon, every day. So that's entirely doable right there in the MCG lounge at Gamehole Con.
Oh, I'm just checking to see if there's any more questions. I thought I saw a couple. Chat was going on pretty quick. We have a pretty lively chat going on today. They're having a great conversation. Now we're talking about Gamehole Con. I was going to ask another question. This was a question that came up, and I don't know if you have the answer to this, but this was I'm trying to remember conversations that were happening on the server, right? And one of the conversations that came up was there was some concern with over moderation on Moonbeam, as in keeping your personal information. I personally tried to look it up as best as I could, and I couldn't find anything. I was just wondering if you knew anything about this subject.
I don't know anything about that subject. I've certainly not heard anything about the Moonbeam platform having a system where you become a user that requires you to give up any more information than you would give up to any other platform. But I can't swear to be an expert on it, right? Like we've seen the platform demos, we've been given the information about how it works and so on and so forth. I haven't come across that.
That's the same thing as well. I tried to do some personal research. I personally couldn't find anything myself. Right. But I have to ask the question, the tough questions, Charles.
I will point out, just for the total clarity and to address the potentiality here on this tough question, is that there is also some other like crypto or a blockchain thing that also is called Moonbeam. And I know that some people have sometimes like Googled up Moonbeam and they find that and they think that that's what this is. It's not that. It's not the same thing. This doesn't involve blockchain or crypto or any of that baloney.
But if it did, you could give your donations to our offshore account. Another thing we also wanted to ask about Moonbeam, you had mentioned that you're gonna have the streams, and you have mentioned to me offline you wanted to ask the community if there was anything they wanted us to perhaps add into Moonbeam, or if they had any suggestions.
Yeah.
You know, so chat, if there's anything you would like to see in Moonbeam that you personally either haven't heard or isn't in, you know, let us know in chat. Let us know on the CU Discord. Let us know on the YouTube video the following day, and we'll definitely get all that information to Charles. Because I will say this, Charles has been open to everyone's suggestions, not only ours, but the entire community. So if there's anything you think that will possibly help Anywhere Door Out, not necessarily Moonbeam. I don't want to get bombarded with quick random questions, but Charles is open to listen to any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I know one thing that's come up a lot, Charles. People want to see actual plays of like all the settings of all our different products, or not our products, MCG's products. But they want
it's our products, right? Like we put them out in the world, and then everybody embraces them, right? That's the whole beauty of role playing games.
Just over my shoulders.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it. So you know, but yeah, so yeah,
like
that was the thing.
I think there's very, very limited capacity of MCG's team to bring you that, right? Like we have. You know, we work all day on these games, and we play them ourselves. And we have people on our team who have varying levels of how good they feel about being seen in public, doing the things that they love and whatnot. So some like myself, I have no objection to streaming. I really enjoy it. But there's other members of the team who like literally feel like that's not something they want to do. So our ability to for us to get in front of you and run games all the time is limited. We are going to do this. We have a pledge level. So we've decided we're going to do a monthly evening with MCG where we are going to play a game. And then we had a pledge level where we invite for every session a couple people to join us to do that. And that's a thing. I think that pledge level is all fully taken up to participate, but it will be streamed and everybody will be able to be there, and you will see MCG team members mixed with members of the community playing games. It could be anything, right? It's not a specific schedule that we've put together. It's going to be whatever the GM of that particular month wants to do. There could be more stuff of MCG people playing as well, but the great thing about this is that it will also make it really, really easy for other people to do that, right? So maybe there's somebody who's a diehard Gods of the Fall fan who's run a really cool campaign, has some really neat adventures, and is going to stream some games. And they say to us, we'd love to stream it live on the Anywhere Door, and then we could make them an approved streamer, whether they're part of one of these programs or just a random person out of the community who wants to do that. I think it creates so much opportunity for all that to happen. But we need your help. We need the community's help to really make this as vibrant as it could be.
Charles, we got a couple more questions. No, hold on. We got a couple of quick questions. I want to ask the first one before it rolls out from chat. But Jack Spade said, I think I know the answer to this question, but do you have a favorite setting that isn't a homebrew setting?
Man, yeah. I got a favorite kid too, but I'm not going to tell you which one. No, I don't. Actually, so the only MCG setting that I think, is this true? Other than the occasional one shot, like I've definitely run some Predation. I've run some other things as one shots. The only thing I've run a campaign of that was straight out of one of our books was The Strange. And it was a fun campaign. We played 3, 4, 5 big adventures. Mostly I make my own campaign setting. So I don't know. Hang on a second. Tammy.
Yeah.
What's my favorite MCG campaign setting?
Don't answer, Tammy. He's going to have to kill you afterwards.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know. I do.
favorite campaign setting is actually the one you make. You don't really do anything.
We can't see you, Tammy. We would like to see you.
Sorry.
We miss you.
She said, well, I don't know if you heard her, but she said, like I was saying, my favorite campaign setting is the one that I'm currently running, and I run mostly, I run mostly my own stuff. I don't run. Actually, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look over Dean's shoulder at the books on the wall there, and see if that spurs my. I've never run Unmasked. I have run a little bit of Gods of the Fall. I haven't run anything out of the First Responders, the Origins, the Origin. I have run. No, I haven't. I've played some of the setting in We Are All Mad Here. Yeah. I don't know. I probably belabored the point a little too much, but anyway.
Crazy has a question.
Oh, let me ask my Crazy Star question because it's Tammy related. Crazy Star asks, does Tammy realize how awesome she is for all she does for all of us?
You know, I can tell you as a matter of fact that Tammy does not realize how awesome she is because she is just incredibly awesome.
I want to second and third that and fourth that as well.
We all agree. Maia asks, what is the main aspect or aspects of Moonbeam that really attracted MCG to it?
So, I would put that, as I said earlier, they kind of led with the moderation tools, and we were like, we've already got great moderation, you know? Like, we were not it was great, but it was not the thing that sold us. The thing that sold us, I think, is probably the ability to bring multiple creators into one environment so that the users could find them very easily, first and foremost. And secondly, it's sort of the modern, easy to use, user-friendly interface that isn't designed for the elite gamers to feel like they're superior to everybody else. I think that's those two things probably are the main ones. Yeah. I think that the accessibility. I'd throw another thing in there.
Can I add something, even though I'm not on
Yeah. Tammy's going to add something.
So I wrote this in the comments, but I think
can you guys hear her, or do I need to repeat her?
No, we can hear her.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's also the people involved, the people who are making this platform, people who are really smart, really kind. They're the kind of people you want to try something new with. You want to see, hey, is this going to work? And like Chaz said earlier, it might not, but dang it, we tried.
Yeah. Well, I think the last thing I'll point in there is that because it has a persistent text a text chat feature there, and could eventually grow to a place where people just go to have that kind of communication. Anytime a streamer comes in, they'll find that audience waiting for them. And I think that that's really great for the streamers and for the community. We don't know if that's what it's going to be like initially. It might be that everybody just does all their talking over on the CU Discord. And then if you launch a stream on Moonbeam, just like you do with Twitch, you'll have to go out and find that audience and bring them in. But ultimately, if it happens to be the case that the community loves to be active in that environment as well, then they'll be right there. The streamer will find an audience right away. The audience will always know when the streamer is doing something without having to go check Twitter and see if DM Tails or the old ways are happen to be streaming tonight or whatnot.
So initially, when this was pitched to you, did you have any idea how grand of a scope they were planning, or was this just pitched as, hey, this is streaming for RPGs?
No, they led right off the bat with what their goals were and where they saw the whole thing going. But it was nice that, like I said, because I think that there's some gamers in that team that's putting together, and because they recognized what our culture is like and how well suited it would be. It was nice that they said, we're going to start off on this community and help then get the platform established, get it through its alpha and its beta, see it succeed, and then grow it out to other communities.
To go back to the Anywhere Door Backer kit, right? What's the next stretch goal? And could you elaborate on that a little bit more so they could our audience could fully understand what the $10 is actually doing?
Yes. So obviously when we started off, we had a number of things we were going to sort of support that would help set us up our realm and whatnot, provide some basic content for it, as well as the way it looks in the setup. We've surpassed that goal. We now know we're going to make it. All of the goals going forward from this point forward are supporting the creators that will be present on that platform, including the CU. And the next stretch goal at 19,000, which is only $1,395 away, but I will point out that's the same number it was at the beginning of the stream, so people should get over there and start driving that number up. When we get it at $19,000, MCG will double everything that is raised through this campaign for streamers. So the Cypher Stream Creator Fund for the new and upcoming streams, and the grant pool for established streams, anything that the campaign raises toward those things, MCG will double it. So we'd really, really, really like to make that happen. It means that instead of 5 new streams getting $500 grants, we'll have 10. It means perhaps the CU might get a grant of X much. I just saw the number go up. Then CU, we will double what the CU gets out of this. And the same for Mr. Tarask and the Old Ways and DM Tail and Ketup and others that are part of this established streamers that are part of this as well. So that's what we want to do as our next stretch goal. And then we have this other kind of crazy idea if we get to 20. It's not really kind of an official stretch goal yet, and we haven't announced it elsewhere, but I think it's good for the community to know. Get us to 20. Everything from 19 to 20 will go straight to the CU. That'll be a $1,000 additional grant on top of everything else. Again, because you guys are just so freaking awesome. And so great for our community. I mean, you guys are such a foundation for our whole community.
Oh, I want to cry. I wanted to go back on the last stretch. So people don't realize how important that actually is for the Cypher community content creators, because there's not many of us to begin with. And we don't have the biggest audiences, so we don't bring in, none of us, I can honestly say, none of us are, retiring from work on what we do for making MCG-related content. So this is, and not speaking for us, we all have our own jobs, but for all the other content creators or the people that want to get in this space, this is something that's actually going to encourage. You're going to see, if you want to see more people creating content using Monte Cook Games products, this is the perfect thing to back. A little thing like $10, because it's going to get so many new creative people into the space. And, that's a boon for all of us, because the more people we have creating content, the cooler stuff, and don't mind my cursing, the cooler shit you're going to see, not only on Anywhere Door, but on all the other social platforms. Right. And that little push, that little bit of money might create the next great content creator. And I'm so excited to hear that. And that's so awesome of you guys.
And because, and you said that, that's just a perfect lead into Ketup's question. He said, how does MCG related does the content need to be? For third-party developers, can we do things like Cypher dev streams or actual plays for things like Entropic Isle, Void Home, Harrow, Mystery Flesh Pit, et cetera, or is it preferred to be MCG release content?
Yeah, no, we're so there's sort of two questions there. There's a two-part question. One is, what content is appropriate for streamers that we give the keys to the realm to be able to stream when they want to on the Anywhere Door? And the second part is, what is the type of content that would be eligible for grants or that would be be supported by MCG and the funds that we're doing here through this campaign? So in terms of the first answer, I think very, very broad. Actually, the answers are pretty similar, even though it's two separate questions. We want to make a great community full of stuff that our community is interested in and finds cool. Really, that's kind of our primary concern. So absolutely, if there's some content for the Entropic Isle or Mystery Flesh Pit or something that has really nothing, CSOL products that might be in the works that we don't even know about or whatever, if it's going to be of interest to to the Cypher system and the MCG community, and of course, not just Cypher system, right? You want to live stream a game of the Devil's Dandy Dogs. You want to do some stuff for Invisible Sun, whatever it is. That's all cool. But by the time this is out to the public, you'll also have Diamond Throne out there and Tidal Blades and some other things too that are not really core MCG products or core Cypher system. That is fine for content. And again, as we talk about what would be grant eligible or get you one of the grants for the Cypher Stream Creator Fund, if it's we're not putting like shackles on that. It's the kind of thing, if you pitch something that you think is going to be interesting to the community and we agree and it's going to be cool and people are going to love it, we don't want to host your Pathfinder stream, but like if it's something that our community want for our game, then heck yeah.
I want to see some Stealing Stories for the Devil get some love on air. I would love to see that.
Oh my God. We could almost do a show to talk about the Stealing Stories games that come out of events like Gen Con and Gamehole Con, because let me tell you, there was a marriage of a player character to the alien queen from Aliens in one of our Stealing Stories games at Gen Con this summer. They're just some fantastic. And I mean, at some point we're gonna have to relate to the public the story about the time that the players actually in real life heisted Tammy's Gen Con badge for an event like that. Stealing Stories, like you can have a really entertaining show just talking about the games that have been played of that fun game.
Oh my God, Stealing Stories at both Gen Con and Gamehole Con.
Maybe next year's Gamehole Con will interview players right after Stealing Story.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun.
And then clip it and put it into like one video. That should be really funny.
All right, here's the deal, guys. Put this out there. If you're watching, listen. If you're not watching, I mean, if you're watching, pass it on to people who haven't listened. If we'll do that. We will stream from Gamehole Con. We will stream after action reports of Stealing Stories if you get us to the $19,000 goal.
Oh, people also have been asking about the Devil's Dandy dogs as well.
Yeah.
A lot of going on about that. I mean, it's a lot of stuff out there, and I mean, just the peripheral stuff that's not just directly Cypher. You know, there's a lot of, but there's a lot of love for this, and I think this would be a great platform, people. You know, I'm with Charles, I'm with Anthony. I'm excited that this might give us a broader platform to work from and to draw more people in, because Cypher System and MCG are just absolutely awesome.
All right, so there's still only 38 hours left. You're currently at $17,635 with 491 backers. We need to see that number get up, regardless if you're you're going to use this platform, right? I personally backed it just to see new content creators, and MCG is basically saying, hey, look, we're doing this to have other people create content for the system, and there's not that many companies that do that. You want to support the companies that do the right thing. I'm not talking to you, Charles. I'm talking to the CU community. Support the companies that do the right thing and do the right thing by you. Because when we support these companies, right, it makes other companies follow suit. MCG has always done the right thing.
So at the end of the day, there's no argument about what MCG stands for, the type of people that they are. I mean, I was literally just telling somebody the other today that, MCG is just the type of people you want to contend with and deal with. Been nothing but forthcoming and wonderful to the community.
Thank you.
Those books, the books that you put out, the product, everything. So yeah, guys, come on. Let's support the Anywhere door. Let's support these new, get some new content creators out there. Let's make this thing happen. I think, it's a match made in heaven.
It's happening. Let's make this thing grow.
That's what I'm saying. Make it bigger. Let's make it bigger. Let's make it bigger.
So I would just, I would like to ask anybody that might be watching, how many people that are watching went to Gen Con last week? Anybody? I can't see. You guys are gonna have to answer because I can't see.
Yeah, I'm looking at chat. I know there was one or two people that were mentioned in Gen Con earlier. Let's see if anybody in chat. Oh, we have a
guy. Sumter guy went.
Yeah.
And came by the MCG room, presumably. And so hopefully they can back me up on this. We have a room on the Hoosier Concourse. It's across the hall from the exhibit hall. We're not in the exhibit hall anymore. We have it's a double room. It's about 60 feet on a side, holds about 15 game tables plus our booth space. And It's open from like 8 a.m. all the way till midnight. We're playing games and stuff there, as well as selling and running demos and doing all the stuff you do at Gen Con. And it is inviting. It is just a great place to be. If you walk along that corridor, there's all these other companies that have rooms, and I don't want to, sound like I'm beating my own drum too much, but like I think we had the most inviting room. We had the room that was the busiest and most engaging all the time. There was stuff to do. All those tables were full, and everybody was having a good time. We had a little thing where you could scan a QR code and do a survey on how your game went. We had about 1,000 gamers play games in our room over the course of the weekend, and they could rate different things on a scale of 1 to 5, and the average rating was like 2.85 or something like that. It was really, really high, particularly when you think that like who's most likely to take one of those surveys? Probably somebody who's got a gripe, right? But like it was really, really high, people's results. So like our GMs were they're just so fantastic. They're so engaging and friendly and welcoming, and the community is so great. And that is the standard that we set for ourselves for the things we do. And we want to have the same kind of space online where it just beats your expectations every time you go into it, that it's filled with wonderful people, that there's really cool things to engage with, that you just have a good time when you're there, that you're happy that you're there. We had somebody who was a relatively new GM, and a new GM for us, had never GM'd. It was only her second Gen Con she'd ever been to. She said she had kind of a rough time the previous Gen Con, didn't really enjoy it very much, but gave it a second shot. And then she said, from now on, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be a GM for MCG because this room gave me a home base for the convention that was just so wonderful and surrounded by people that were great to be with. The community is just so fantastic. This is what we're trying to build here in internet land, right? It's the same sort of vision. And, we just want the community's help in filling it full of really cool content.
Well, I can speak from experience with that room. Great place to be, people. And they don't lie. Charles is telling you the truth. This is what MCG does all the time. And if the anywhere door is going to happen, and you're going to see that it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be more of the same thing. You're going to find a place to be happy. You'll be able to ask questions. There's always going to be somebody there, with a smile and a, hand to wave to tell you what's going on. So hats off to MCG.
Something that guy wrote, my 17-year-old daughter went with me for the first time, and the MCG team made sure she felt like she was part of the family. She decided she wants to go again next year and run games for MCG. She never even run a game before, but they had that kind of impact on her.
Oh, that touches me, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
See? And but you guys do it every year. You do it all the time.
I mean, I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. You guys treat everyone like family.
Well, it's easy to do because we have such a fantastic community,
Charles, so we almost an hour in. Is there anything else about Anywhere Door that you feel like you need to tell our audience and our community? Maybe people that are going to watch this tomorrow on YouTube.
We've covered a lot of ground, so and I've had a drink. What have I missed? Anything? Can you guys think of anything? Tammy, can you think of anything? Yeah. So
Zeus Legion just said 4K video, 1080p.
I think it will have all the standards you're used to, and then some. Pretty much in every category. It looks like that they are really. The platform is really designed to be the next generation of a streaming and community platform.
I know you mentioned it earlier, but also repeat this. When's the beta coming out? And if someone backs this, they have access to the beta, correct?
Yeah, so I actually think it will come out to early backers, and actually like sort of a late alpha version, a pre-beta version, and that's what will launch. I don't have an exact date from them, but they were talking end of August, early September is when that will be the case. Which is why I was saying before that seems like it's pretty likely we would be able to do some streaming into it during that phase from GameholeCon. But that said, that will only be for the backers. That early access will only be for the backers. It will open to the public in a full beta I think probably right around the beginning of the year.
I mean, that's another reason to actually back Anywhere Door, to be honest, because if you pledge $10, $15 and it isn't for you, you know from the very beginning whether or not it's going to not be for you.
There
You know, so that's also, it's $10 that give you the information well before everyone else does.
Yeah,
and if it is fantastic, $10 got you in the door into the fantastic platform.
Right. And there's some like little perks that go along with that. That if it's the kind of thing that you like, it's cool. Like there's, they have badges and things as many platforms do, and you'll get a founder's badge and some other things like that that are unique that no one will ever have, and you'll have forever. And if the platform turns out to be gigantic, then 10 years from now you'll be one of the guys with a founder badge, and you'll have that for Moonbeam, and you'll also have that for the Anywhere Door. So that's kind of cool, and that's a nice thing that you get even at just like that little $10 level. There's a higher level that has some physical merch, and that's kind of fun, including some CU bits and pieces, and that's pretty cool. But to me, like the early access and seeing what it's like is cool. But I think more than anything is that when it opens its door to the public, in January or whenever it happens to be, people will come in and there will already have been conversation, right? There will already have been some people populating that space and interacting, and they will have been there for a couple of months, and they will have set the tone for the environment and for the conversation and so on. And I think it's cool to be part of that, right? To be one of the people that came in and established what this MCG community hub is like for everybody that comes in and follows. And that's the part that I think is kind of like, is so unique about the opportunity.
Ken Hub said if you want to pledge $10, Charles will be sharing his link to his OnlyFans page for those beta streams. Behave, Ken Hub.
I'll tell you what, if you pledge for this, then anybody who comes up to me in the future, I will give you my personal recipe for a cruising confusion, which is a fantastic drink. So that's what I pitch in there. Yeah.
There's a pledging $1,000 now.
All right. Then you will get a link to the OnlyFans page. I'll set one up right now.
And I'm telling you, Charles, when we get the game hall this year, I want one of those.
All right, you got it.
Charles, first off, thank you so much for coming on, talking to the community on such show. I mean, I literally sent a message to Charles about an hour and a half ago, like, hey, you want to come on and talk about this?
Yeah.
And he was super fantastic as always, super gracious as always, super supportive as always, to come on and chat on, because I felt the need to talk about Anywhere Door, because there was a lot of questions. I think you answered a lot of them. They still might be questions. Feel free to post it on the Discord server or on the YouTube channel, and we'll make sure we'll get it to Charles, and he'll try to answer it best as he possibly can.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Charles. This was fantastic. I think I learned a lot.
Glad to help. Always glad to talk to you guys, because you're a lot of fun to hang out with, and to the community in general, because they're all so freaking awesome. Can I make a personal pitch before we close?
Sure.
You may not know this, but I also do a little bit of writing. So I'm going to be crowdfunding some novel stuff in the not too distant future. Can I throw you a link?
Absolutely.
Please.
Where should I put that?
I'll put it in our private chat, and I'll put it in the Discord.
We'll throw it in Twitch.
Yeah. I mean, throw it on the Twitch.
And Charles, since you just said that, I mean, are you going to be visiting the realm of castaways in any of this writing? Because I tell people all the time, if you want to play a great adventure, you got to play Castaways.
Thank you. Very, 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 very kind of you to say. I appreciate that. No, this is something completely different. It's a personal project. It's not related to any of MCG's games. I will say this, though. A few weeks ago, I ran for Tammy and some of our friends, and I think Rowan played in the game, an adventure that is in that same universe. And it needs some work before it's ready for prime time, but maybe there's some future for it. It was a science fiction horror adventure, not directly connected with the events of the Castaway adventure, but distinctly within the same universe.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this isn't.
You know
this is
maybe we should see about you guys. You guys are you all three? It's not all three of you coming to Game Hole Con. Who's coming to Game Hole Con?
I'm definitely coming.
Me? Yep.
We still. I'm.
How are you? You're not on video. Are you also coming?
Al, you can unmute yourself for this. He wrote, Al is not. That hasn't been decided yet, Al.
All right.
I'm on mic. Sorry, everyone can hear me now. Just because you said I can hop on. Yeah, unfortunately, at the moment, not planning to because I have a wedding to go to literally next weekend, and it's an energy thing. Like, I don't want to be on planes, But either way, that could change though because again, with the Entropic Isle coming out. I might want to go over there and talk about it or, play it or whatever. But that is for the future to see or hold or reveal or whatever.
I'm just saying now, you should be at the con, Al.
Well, we love to see it, but a wedding is, of course, a reasonable reason not to go. And of course, as you say, like sometimes you have to conserve your energies or whatnot. But if you come, maybe we could talk about playing that adventure if I can fix the parts that need fixing and get it into a good state.
Nice.
Oh, we always said we've actually played. You ran us through back-to-back Game Con adventures, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Charles, like I said, people, if you don't know it now, you should know it. Charles is an excellent writer. Not only his adventures are solid, they're wonderful things, and I'm looking forward to this. I thought this was live, but it's just to get notified. But yes.
And I was aware of this. I should have asked you off stream, but I wanted to know if you actually wanted to talk about this. But most definitely, because I had signed up for this already.
Oh, I didn't even know anybody knew about it. But you know what? It's not like super important. I didn't want to hijack the show about it. But yeah,
it's very important.
But yeah, let's do some gaming at GameCon like we did last year, and we'll do something fun. I'll run something fun, one way or another.
So Charles, once again, thank you so much. Tell Javier, tell Tammy we said we love them, and thank you for being you guys and for being so awesome.
Tammy says her love.
Quick refresher. We have Wesley Allen of DM Tales coming. Yes, on tomorrow's stream is still happening. We interviewing Wesley Allen of DM Tales. He's coming on to talk about Anywhere Door, Cypher System as a whole, and his wonderful YouTube channel. So you're gonna get sick of our face. I think we streamed 4 times this week. It's freaking bananas, right? So yeah, you could definitely. We definitely have it on stream tomorrow. Talk to DM Tales, talk to Wes. It's going to be a great conversation. Go back Anywhere Door. It's not only are you supporting MCG, supporting the CU, you support a few, and I can't stress this enough because I think this is the most important thing. You're supporting future content creators. There's somebody right now on the fence saying, I really love Cypher System and I think I could make a cool video. This is the incentive. This is the kick in the butt to get them to start making videos. Those are the people I want you to reach. Think your $10 is reaching that person. And for all we know, that person might be the next great content creator, the next great MCG.
And bring us to the stretch goal. And your $10 is $20 that reaches that person because MCG will start matching.
Nice. Yes, absolutely. So everybody, like Anthony said, back this, drop $10, if you can afford it, and let's make this thing, let's make this thing grow. We got 38 hours, 37 and a half hours or so. And as usual, Anthony, take us home.
If you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server for all things Monte Cook games. We have the largest fan-run MCG site there is.
And
great conversations being had, games being played almost daily, and just a great all-around fun place to hang out. But if Discord's not for you, join our Facebook group. Not as big as our Discord, but still great conversations being had there daily. If you want, our videos are always free, but if you want us to help us out, you could give us a follow or subscribe here on Twitch or go to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe there. We're still trying to build both platforms up, and any help you could give us will be greatly appreciated. I said our videos are always free, but if you want to support us financially in any way, you could give us a little donation on Ko-fi or go to our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch like the shirt Dean got on. And yes, CypherCon shirts will be available starting next month on that site as well. And last but not least, we love you guys.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for coming by, watching us talk about the Anywhere Door. Thank you so much, Charles, for answering questions, getting us a little more enlightened as we get towards the end of the campaign. And like you said, we really appreciate all the support, and let's hope we get that 19K, and then hope again for that 20K stretch goals. And again, if we reach that, we would really appreciate all that support, us at the CU. But as usual, thank you, Anthony, Dean, for running the show. Thank you, Charles, for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for coming by and watching. And from us at the CU, we will see you later. Peace.